do is start anyway. I got Andrea joining as well. So for this morning, what we thought would be beneficial is, so ahead of Showcase Day, which is planned for the start of March, just kind of talking through what that actually is, who's going to be there, and what the format is for the presentations, and the pitches, and how they ideally will kind of be formatted. So for those of you that don't know me too well, I've supported most of our kind of accelerators and programs with the pitching side, seen many pitch decks, and yeah, talk through with lots and lots of founders about how those are structured. So what I'm going to do today is just run through basically an overview of the general kind of structure which we suggest using, with a example relative to green tech as well. I think with the sessions that you've had so far, it should help to tie into these pitches. We've got a couple more which actually are going to support this as well. So we've obviously got next week a session around kind of storytelling and communicating your business within the green space, which will obviously tie in really well with these pitches, as well as the following week around measuring your impact as a green business, which again will tie into these pitches, which I'll run through in a second. So what our thinking is to run through today the structure. There's then a couple of weeks to actually, you know, if you do want to be pitch at Showcase Day, a couple of weeks then to pull these together. And we've got a couple of points of feedback as well over the next 2 weeks. But I'll bring up my slides anyway, because it's a lot easier to use them as context rather than me just talking. If you have any questions though, as we go through, please do just jump in and shout. So after we finish that side, then Lizzie and I are going to break everyone up into 2 rooms. And we've just got a few kind of questions, which we're going to run through with each other, because I think our peer-to-peer is next week with everybody. We've probably not had too much of an opportunity to actually connect with each other yet. So the second part of the session then we'll be doing that. So right, yeah, I'll crack on. I'll share my screen and just talk a little bit through what the Showcase Day actually is. Let me 2 seconds. I just had my screen ready there. Where is it now? Probably see everything there. Nope. Sorry, I'll be there. There it is. Right, found it. So go slideshow from beginning. Okay. Quite in full screen there. Maybe I'll just try again.
Hi, Sophie. Is it the 5th or the 6th? Because I can see on the screen there it says March the 6th, but I've got it in my diary as March the 5th.
Yeah, it is the 5th. It is the 5th.
Okay, cool.
Excuse that, scratch that. It is definitely the 5th. Thanks, Louise, for flagging that. Yes, 100% the 5th. I'll edit this and yeah, we'll make that clear at the end. So obviously this is part of Wales in London Week, and the reason that we've brought this event and put it within Wales in London Week rather than, you know, right at the end of the programme is that, you know, a big part of this programme is actually forming collaborations and access to network, and taking this event to London means we can actually get some new faces in the space. We've already got kind of invites sent out to kind of investors, corporates, and other kind of ecosystem partners and accelerators. So what we're going for is a room full of, you know, people who really do want to support you on this journey. So aiming for, I think, about 40 kind of relative stakeholders within the room for this event. It's all about showcasing your product, showcasing your innovation, It's not a demo day, and I'll explain a little bit more about that in a minute. So we're running this event. Obviously, it's in partnership with RBC Brew and Dolphin, who have offered their space in Farringdon, which will be running the event from. We ran our an event from the space last year, and it went really well. It's really lovely. We've got a couple of rooms. So we'll go through showcases. We'll then have networking and kind of like a drinks reception. It is on the 5th of March. The space in Farringdon. And yeah, again, the purpose is really just to showcase your green innovations, give you a platform to be able to, show where you are at the moment. You're not going to be at the final product, you're not going to be at the finished article, but it's just an opportunity to pull this all together, and practice this in a way that you would moving forward, really. So yeah, in terms of audience, we have invited investors, corporates, ecosystem partners, and accelerators. The pitches themselves, and I do call them pitches, but as I mentioned a second ago, they won't be pitches, for investment. Because this is a showcase day, it's really important to make the objective to showcase what you're doing, but there can't be a financial ask at the end. And the reason for this is that there are certain regulations around asking for investment, which have very recently come in. Barclays, themselves aren't regulated to be within that space and have those pitching for actual investment. So you can have an ask at the end around wanting to kind of connect and who do you want to connect with, but you can't have a figure and a financial ask there. But we will have investors at the space. So, there's still a lot of opportunity there to really showcase what you're doing, the opportunity, your traction yourself, and then start those conversations after. And that's really the objective of the event. So there'll be about 3 to 4 minutes each. They'll essentially be elevator pitches. So, talking through the problem you're solving, the solution that you're bringing to the market, what the environmental impact is, how scalable this is, and that market potential. And, it's not a super long time, so you can't kind of put everything in there, but it's just putting those kind of key details in there that you'll grab somebody's attention and they'll be like, hey, I need to speak to them in the networking and see how I can help them. And that is essentially, the idea for the event. So if we just pop through, this is basically is how we usually structure our elevator pitches, and suggest that founders kind of follow this format just because it sets quite a nice kind of simple structure to go through. So first slide, we always say just kind of set the scene, just go straight in. So briefly introduce yourself and your innovation, and just, a really snapshot overview of what you're going to be talking about. Just to let everyone know who you are. Obviously, everybody buys into you as a person, especially if you're quite early in your journey. So just quite nice opportunity to get your personality across, maybe set the scene with a story about why you've started this, or pivoted your business into the green space, or what you're looking to explore. So just quite short, snappy, that's going to grab everyone's attention. So then straight into the problem. So these should just be kept really short and sweet and impactful. So highlight the specific challenge that your solution is looking to tackle. Obviously, visuals and statistics are a really nice way to get that across in quite a punchy way. Less is more on these slides as well. These really do not need to be word heavy. As I said, it really is an elevator pitches, and these slides just kind of emphasizing your points. So whether it's kind of one problem, or whether perhaps there are three key challenges within the sector that your solution solves, but usually we say don't go into any more detail than 1 to 3, and make sure they look kind of punchy and obvious on the page as well. So there's quite a nice example here that I pulled out from Kalima, and I can send a link of a site which I found that have some nice relevant ones to the green tech space. But yeah, climate change is the biggest threat to changing humanity and defining experience for the entire generation. So then the solution, so just then go straight into introducing your solution and its key features, and really highlight how it addresses the problem which you've identified. And that usually is in a line or two. You don't have a whole lot of time to go into detail about the product. That there probably is quite a few people there that really are looking for that top line information of how your solution solves that problem. And again, that could be in one way, or that could actually be in 3 ways. You may need a couple of slides to show this. You may want to put your solution on a slide, and then the slide after show top line how the product works. So these are actually 2 separate slides themselves. So it says how it solves the problem. So it is a next-gen climate app that makes personal climate action radically easy, effective, and lovable. And then it has got a little diagram then about how that actually works. So again, the rule of 3 just works quite well to showcase that behind you. And if you've got any kind of snapshots or screenshots of the product itself, that can be really nice in a way that everybody can actually visualize how it looks. So then environmental impact. So there will be some people there who are looking specifically about what impact this solution is going to have on the environment. And this session we will have, not next week, the week after, should help. If this is a little bit cloudy at the moment, that session should help to be able to put some figures on that page. But it is really important to have in there. And if that can be data or metrics, I think that makes it clearer for people in people's mind about how to kind of compare that. I mean, here they've got the massive climate impact of 100,000 barrels of raw oil, which is again just quite easy to visualize. But I think again, just a figure, a little bit of narrative, and it's something which can then be picked up in the networking and explored a little bit more. So market potential, as you can see that this example slide is not from the same as the other one. It was missing this, so I found a separate one. But it is good to discuss the market opportunity for your green tech solution and highlight what the demand actually is. It's really important with this slide that if you're bringing any data or metrics into it, that you have the source and the backing of where you got that from. As part of the kind of sign-off process for these, they will be going to Barclays demo directory team to just check through, and they will be looking to kind of fact check anything that's in them as well. So just make sure that you have got the source or the workings or the calculations of how you figured out that market potential. I think quite a useful exercise anyway, if anybody grills you about it at a later date, or even if anyone in the room asks about that. But yeah, a quite nice visual way to do it is like this. But yeah, feel free to look at options that work best for you. We can send a few examples as well over of how you can present the market potential here. But yeah, I think that's just the most important part here, is just make sure that those facts and calculations are readily available, especially as we send them over to Barclays for sign off ahead of Showcase Day. And this is my funnily formatted slide, which I've battled with about 10 times to get that aligned. So finally, just finish off, because again, this is only 3 to 4 minutes, so you haven't got long, but finish off with a bit of an overview of, you know, the future outlook and what your call to action is. So any, you know, potential future developments in your solution, any upcoming partnerships or collaborations or innovation plans that you're looking for. If there's nobody in the room that may be able to directly help you there, these people should be very well networked. So, you know, if you make it really clear about what you're looking for, there's a higher chance that they'll be able to help you or connect you with somebody that can. Yeah, invite those stakeholders to join you, and make sure you provide obviously that contact information at the end. It's always nice to just put it on the last slide, so you can just leave it up, and then everybody can add your details and see your ask at the same time. But of course, we will actually share everybody that is showcasing an overview of your business, who you are, and send that to the audience as well. One additional slide as well that would be good to have in there if you have the space is, you know, at the start you're going to present who you are, but if you want to actually put a slide up there on who you are and what your experience is or your background, do feel free to. It's quite a nice way to actually, you know, show the credibility of why you're doing what you're doing, show your skill set, and yeah, it just helps everybody to kind of buy into you as a person and, you know, understand you a little bit better. So yeah, if you'd like to actually add a slide with that on as well, please feel free to. This is a structure which we suggest for this length of presentation and pitch. If there are, you know, if there's a slide in there that you'd like to add about your competitive advantage or the competitive landscape, you know, feel free to do so. And if that works within the time, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, I think as a standard structure to include all of these bits, that's what we would suggest. And yeah, just remember that this is showcasing your innovation to make connections. You're not going to be there pitching for investment and be grilled by investors or anything like that. Although they'll be in the room, that is not the purpose of them being there. All figures must be cited as well as checked. There must be no financial ask at the end of the presentation. So, you know, I'd like to raise X amount of investment. If you want to like talk, say you want to have conversations around that, fine. But there just can't be a specific ask in there. In terms of timeline, so if you're able to prepare a first draft of these pitches for the 18th of February, so that is the Sunday of that weekend, and we'll send a kind of Google Drive link for everyone to upload them to. We then have Savannah Rosa, who supported us on our investor readiness program last year. So she's previously worked with Pink Salt Ventures. She's been reviewing pitch decks. She now actually works for MasterCard and supports on their green partnerships. She's actually going to run through your pitches with you. So I think we'll have about half an hour slot. She'll see those decks ahead of time, so ahead of that one-to-one. We'll then have the one-to-one, you'll run through, and she'll just, you know, give you some feedback based off of that. There'll then be a little bit of time to edit and, you know, make those tweaks into the slide decks themselves ahead of the 22nd of February, when we'll send them to Barclays for sign-off. In the meantime, there will be opportunities to practice the kind of speaking side of the elevator pitches, you know, with us after you've had that feedback from Savannah as well. So then that gives, is it about a 10-day period before the 5th of March, then between the 22nd of Feb to just refine them, and yeah, and practice. So I think that's everything. I think I just want to, yeah, reiterate, it really is just an opportunity for you to bring everything that you've been learning on the accelerator and we'll do in the next couple of weeks together. And you know, this will probably evolve as well over the next few months, but it's a really nice place to start, as well as make some good connections, really. over in London. So I think that's everything. I don't think I've missed anything, have I, Lizzie?
No, I don't think so.
No. So yeah, I just welcome any questions that anybody has, any concerns, any thoughts. Yeah, Charles.
Yeah, morning, Sophie. Thank you for that. Question for you. What are the timings for the event? When will it finish? And is there any expectation to do anything afterwards? Just want to make sure I plan travel back
Yes.
here if possible.
The event will be in the evening, so I think there'll be arrival from about 5:15, and I think the event should be wrapping up by about 8 o'clock. But there's, I'm sure the event will probably continue on afterwards. I think they're looking at booking a space afterwards. So,
Yeah.
but the actual event will be finishing at around 8 o'clock.
And then, so
Cool.
yeah, similar to last year, I think Brew and Dolphin booked a space then for everybody to go for drinks and just, yeah, connect then after the event itself. So obviously that's not compulsory, but we'll be welcome, and we'll send out some more details on what that looks like over the next week.
Great. All right. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Hi, Louise.
Hi, Sophie. Thanks for that. So just going back to where you said about putting a sort of page up about our credentials, who we are, that credibility, was that at the end, or would that be at the beginning when we're sort of introducing ourselves?
So we actually usually would suggest putting it at the end.
Okay.
Unless it's a very kind of, there's been a couple of occasions where we thought it would go better at the beginning, but generally we do the end. So perhaps aim for the end, and then when we're going through it, we're like, actually, that probably would sit better at the beginning, we can switch it around.
Okay. Yeah. Brilliant.
The founders that we've had in the most recent couple of months that have had it at the beginning, the kind of the why really sat with them and their backstory. So I think it made sense that they addressed themselves first, because it fed straight into the why.
Yeah.
Problem.
Mm.
It kind of set the story, whereas that if your background isn't necessarily attached to the why, then it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense, because for us it is kind of, we're answering a kind of problem that we had ourselves, so it sort of might make sense to put that in the beginning.
Yeah, definitely, and feel free to, because you're basically telling a story the whole way through these, so wherever that fits better in the story. So probably at the beginning for you.
Yeah. And then just in terms of, you talked about not being able to sort of mention no financial ask, and we're not going to be interrogated on that. So they're not going to sort of say, oh, what's your expected returns over 3, 5, 10, that kind of detail at this stage, are they?
No, they won't.
Great. Okay. Good.
Yeah. So it's very much kind of focusing on, the storytelling side, that market potential, the impact, I think, is a really big thing here, and that we'd like included. But yeah, there'll be no grilling on financials at all.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, of course there will be investors there. So if that is something you're looking for, feel free to grab them, and everyone will have name badges. We'll let you know who's attending ahead of the event, if there's anyone of interest.
Great, thank you.
Okay, no worries. Any other questions at all? No? Okay, fab. All right, what we'll do is we'll obviously upload these slides to portal, and if you do have any other questions, let us know. But I think if you could essentially start pulling these together and aim for the 18th of February, which will then, those pictures will be going over to Savannah then, and early that week those one-to-ones with Savannah will be booked in to go through and have feedback on those. We're always more than happy to just jump on a call with you if you've got any questions around it, if you'd like to go through anything. So please do shout. But we'll send over a few examples and the timelines and everything, and go from there. Okay, perfect. I think we'll wrap up that side of things then and go into the into breakout rooms?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we take a 5 minute and then?
Yeah, perhaps if everyone bears with us 5 minutes, maybe if you want to grab a drink or anything, and then we'll pop everyone in breakout rooms then.